Hey guys, what's up? I got a couple of questions about what I use to record and how I record, really. So I decided to share my secrets. I call them secrets. My secrets with you. Ooh, oh my, sorry. So what I use is PlayClaw, and I bought a license to this. I had quite a lot of money at one point. I don't now, but that's because I'm a college student, and yeah, so without a job, in fact. This is my only source of income. Yay! So I use PlayClaw 5 because I bought a license a long time ago, or not a long time ago, a little while ago, hardcore license, and I have the processor power to do it. So I decided, why not? So here are my system specs, my new system specs. I have a 6-core, 3.5 GHz processor. Could be overclocked, but I'm choosing not to do that right now. Yeah, but Windows 7 Ultimate, of course. So I have all the basics, I guess you can say. So the reason I use PlayClaw is because I have a really powerful processor. And if I didn't have a powerful processor, what I would be using is Fraps, and sometimes, occasionally, I'll use Fraps because sometimes Fraps is the only thing that works. Sometimes PlayClaw doesn't hook into the game, or sometimes it just doesn't work. So that happens, and I just use Fraps usually. So what I do is I record to my solid state, which is a terabyte. That's my solid state here, which is plugged in via USB 3. So I have the maximum amount of frames per second going out to that terabyte. And so that's the raw footage. I have something in my throat. I'm really sorry. So that's the raw footage. I think I ate something earlier today that just didn't, kind of partially stuck in my throat. It's just like those tacos, like hard shell tacos. Usually I'll just chomp them down because I'm really hungry, and I'll just get them stuck in my throat. And then when they finally do go down, they just tear your throat up. Oh my god, ever had that? Oh, it's awful. So I record anyway. I recorded my solid state. That should be it. Really sorry. I recorded my solid state, and that will give me my maximum frames per second. So it's a terabyte, it's a solid state, it's USB 3, so we're all good usually. So I just use that. And my recording settings are 60 FPS, of course. MPEG, because it's really the only... Yeah, I mean, I could use fast, but it's... yeah. I don't go with custom frame size. I record in 1080p because my resolution is 1920 by 1080. So, and I usually record in full screen. I will always record in full screen because black bars are sucky. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way again because some games just don't support it, but usually they do. And when they don't, I'll scale it up, and I'll explain that in a minute. But my capture frame rate is 60. My compression threads are down to 1. I set this up on my dual core processor, and if I tried to go anywhere above 1, even 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, usually what ended up happening was when I tried to encode it later, the video would end up glitchy, and it'd just jump back and forth, and weird things would happen. So I just set it down to 1, and I just put this new hex core processor in, so I haven't experimented with it yet, but I have a feeling I can set it up to 5. I just have, I mean, through experimentation, I've tried every single setting on here. So through experimentation, I think I can set it up to 5, but I'm not sure. And I'm not going to try it on a real video, not, something I'm going to test on several videos before that, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So I would recommend as many compression threads as you can manage. But so far I can only manage 1 as far as I'm aware. Smooth frame flow, I don't know what this does. Honestly, I'll admit right now, I don't know what it does. But draw cursor, that obviously draws the cursor so you can see my mouse. Woo! So this I don't play with because I don't pre-record or use the pre-record feature. I use the record feature. So convert to stereo, I always do that because I don't want to record a game's audio in mono because that would be weird, and there would be positional sound that you wouldn't get otherwise. So I record to stereo even though my mic is only mono. I will record that to stereo because there's no option to turn that into mono. So I don't mix the audio in one track. That is one of the key things. I keep my audio separate. The reason for this is because when I record the game audio and my vocal audio, if I record them separately, I can edit them separately and then raise them or lower them depending on what's going on, what's happening. If the game's audio is too loud, I can lower that without screwing up my voice. So I can always do that. Write audio in separate files, that's also the same thing. So what I usually end up with is I'll go into the audio sources and I'll add the wave out that's going to my headphones, and then I'll record the wave in. This is the microphone that I'm using is a new microphone. I actually just got the pop filter in for it, so when I say P or S or things like that, the wind doesn't get into the mic, which is really nice. Or laugh. So the wind doesn't get in the mic and you don't hear that. So the microphone that I'm using is also fairly new microphone. So I've gotten all new stuff since all this arrived October 4th, and I've only recorded a few videos with it since, and they've all ended up, the sound wasn't great because I was sitting way far away from it because my friend was here and he was sitting closer to it than I was and he sounded better. So yeah, it was that whole Happy Fun ordeal, which I'll modify that situation later. So that way we both sound good. So I have the Audio-Technica AT2035 microphone. This is a $150 microphone. I got it for $100 new. This is a new package. I saw it for like $90 used, but it says used and it says that it was like new condition, but I got a new condition one for $20 more, so I was like, $110. It's still less than $150, which was the retail price, so I figured, why not? So I got all this at once, and it was amazing because I put it all together. I was like, oh, yes. So, yay. So I have it. What it actually outputs to 3-pin AT or XTA or something like that. I can't remember. But I have a converter. It's a $35 like wire basically that converts the 3-pin to the USB, and it actually needs phantom power because it's a condenser microphone. It needs phantom power, so that's why it's a $30 microphone or $30 cable, because it gives me the option of giving it phantom power, 48 volts in fact. So that's always good. But what I have is there's a switch on the microphone that's minus 10 dB. It reduces the volume by 10 decibels because if I didn't do that, I would be extremely loud. So I switched that on after figuring out that it wasn't going to work without it, or not well anyway. If I screamed in the mic, it would just clip the audio so badly it wouldn't even be funny. So that's my settings, my hardware settings anyway, so that's pretty much all I've got. So I go into audio sources and I record everything separately. I would use the default, except I don't trust defaults. I never ever trust defaults because they screw me over a lot. So anyway, I don't, the default settings for overlays is like everything's enabled and everything's shown in the video. So I removed everything except for the FPS overlay, which isn't shown in video. So I can actually see what I'm recording at, what frame rate I'm recording at, which is nice. Oh, also the recording statistics, which is also nice to see. I can see how many megabytes the file is, how many frame drops there are, and how long I've been recording for, and that's always on the left-hand side of the video, so I can always just kind of tell where I am from there. So those are the basic settings, and this is the first time I've used desktop mode, so we'll see how this goes. Might be fun. So that's like my recording settings. If I didn't have a powerful processor, I would be using Fraps and I would be recording to my solid state directly. But since I have a powerful processor, I can encode frames on the fly, and that lets me record with PlayCall 5, which without any frame loss, because right now I think I've got like 14%. I love this CPU. I'm still playing with it. I still haven't found a way to max it out yet. It's amazing. So now that I've gotten the raw recording out of the way, I figured you might want to know how I edit it together, because there is actually a lot of editing involved. I don't heavily edit my videos, like I don't cut things out and do like fast forwards and things like that. I do very light editing, but there's still a lot of editing involved. For example, I just recorded this Minecraft video. This is a test video that won't actually go on the channel. I just recorded it for this video here. So what I do is there's 3 audio. There's the game audio, there's my vocal audio, and then there's the video. So this is about 36 seconds in length, but the first thing I do is I go into Adobe Audition and I drag and drop my vocal audio, which is always 1.0, by the way, always. I've dropped my vocal audio in and I look at the very start. Now, usually what I do is in my videos at the very start, I say mark, and then I wait like a half a second, and then I continue, like, hello, how are you, yada yada. So that's how I start, and the reason is to mark the audio, is to know where I start at. And then I chop that off in the video, of course, you never hear that. But what I do here is I wait about 2 seconds before I do anything. I just sit there here in silence for like 2 seconds, and what I get is this background noise, this background, and I'm actually going to do something with it, so you can hear it here. Hey guys, what's up? Just showing off my processor power and all that happy fun stuff. 19 FPS. Not bad. Not bad at all. Look at these beautiful, don't mind those. So that's just a test of my vocal, but you can hear in the background there's some background noise. Hey guys. Probably the fans, because the fans are extremely loud. I have 2 GPU fans, so they're extremely loud. But I can do something with this audio in the front here. What I do is I select it, I hit Effects, Noise Reduction, Capture Noise Print, and then I Control A, Effects, Noise Reduction, Noise Reduction, and then I apply. And now you can see all of that audio is gone, but you can hear, hey guys, what's up? Just showing off my processor power and all that happy fun stuff, 19 FPS. So you can hear that the background audio is pretty much gone from the vocals as well. They sound much cleaner, much crisper. And so what I then do sometimes, it depends on the video, but sometimes what I'll end up doing is I'll go into the audio, Control A, amplitude and compression, and normalize it to about 75. And the reason for that is just to make it louder. So, hey guys, what's up? Just showing off my processor power and all that happy fun stuff. So you can hear it. It's a little bit better. It's not like amazing or anything like that, but I don't expect it because this room is really crappy. I'm sitting in a really crap room. So, and this is a very powerful microphone, so I don't expect it to be perfect, but it's pretty damn good. It's not terrible. So what I then do is I go into Save As, and I go and name it Edited. And I always record in 4800 hertz. Like, the output is 4800 hertz and the microphone is 4800 hertz as well. So, because I want DVD quality, not CD quality. So, just because it's a little bit better, that's all. So, there's that. So I name it Edited, and then I go back in here, and I should see edited.wave. And that's all I do to the audio. That's it. So that part's done. And then what I do is I go into New Project in Adobe Premiere, and I name it like Minecraft, because why not? And so I'll leave these at defaults. And then it'll pop up and ask me if I really, really, really want to do something. Sequence presets, that's it. Something like that. And I actually created a custom preset. So the frame rate is 60 FPS, and I like 60 FPS because the reason I do 60 FPS is, yes, YouTube plays back at 30, right? But if I record at 60, you can tell the difference, even through playback at 30 FPS, you can tell the difference between 60 FPS and 30 FPS. Like, if you've ever watched somebody with really low frame rate on YouTube, even though the playback's at 30 FPS, they're still recording at like 15 FPS, and you can tell it's there. You can see it. So you can see the difference between 60 and 30 even through YouTube. It's actually kind of cool, but not so much when you're recording. Anyway, so I have a custom preset here, 1920 1080, but 1 pixel aspect ratio thingy, square pixel, that thing. 60 FPS, 4800 hertz. 2 video tracks, and I'll explain the reason for that in a second. 1 standard audio track and 1 standard mic track. and a standard music track, and that's it. That's pretty much all my presets. And so I'll create a new project real quick. And then what I will do is I will go into, this is a new thing. I'm still trying to remove everything from my last Windows, which is a ridiculous amount of crap that I had, and it's just, yeah. So anyway, what I'll do is I'll go into here, oops, nope, here, and here. I almost always misclick that, always. It's ridiculous. So I go into there, and I drag and drop, basically. Just drag and drop. And then I go into, because I'm so very organized, everything is on my E drive. What I do is I go into video assets, I go into images, and I go into outro. Drag and drop the outro there. And then I go into videos, and I drag and drop the intro, which I already pre-made. So I'll add music later. So I have all this free music that I downloaded. It's royalty free, which means I don't have to pay them. I don't get any copyright claims, and I don't have to pay people to use this music on monetized videos. So I can safely monetize all this without having to pay money to other people or without having copyright claims, which is really, really nice. So I go into the intro, drag and drop. I go into the video, drag and drop. I go into the first audio, which is the game audio, and drag and drop as well. And most of the time the audio doesn't match, but it's always like a millionth of a second off at the very end. And normally I trim that off anyway. And it, no matter what the length is, it doesn't really matter. So it's not a huge deal to me. It's not that. It's really. So then I drag and drop my edit audio into the mic bit there. There we go. And so what I'll do is I'll link these. Sometimes I forget, but what I try and do is I try and link the two since they're basically together. I can just drag them around and crap. So what you'll see is you'll see the intro, and then of course the outro. But I do a little bit of editing on the outro, and I expand this to 7, 8, 9, and as close to 10 as I can get. Sometimes I don't actually get on exactly 10, but most of the time I'm able to. So 10 seconds on the outro. And so you'll see at a really awful frame rate the video here. Hey guys, what's up? Just showing off my processor power and all that happy fun stuff. 19 FPS. Not bad. Not bad at all. Look at these beautiful, don't mind those. Look at these beautiful shadows, and oh my god, that is lovely. So, yes, because why not? So that's all the audio done there. Bleh. But there's a couple more things I have to do yet. First, I need to trim this first 2 seconds here in which I go mark, or I just stay silent because of the silence. So I go right just before I say hi, and I trim that off. And now, all of a sudden, I go in and we see, hey guys, what's immediately. Up? Now, one of the last things I do is I figure out why everybody's banging around upstairs. Oh my. So, I go into here, and I right-click, and I say Apply Default Transitions. And I do the same to here. And that will allow me to just smoothly transition. That's all. The window fell down. It's about to fall down. We haven't fixed that yet. We'll get it. So that is just a smooth transition from the intro to the outro, and from the outro, or from the intro to the content, and the content to the outro. And normally I try and clip these to like 20 minutes. What I'll do is if I record like 40 minutes or an hour or 2 hours or 5 hours or whatever, I'll clip that into 20-minute sections. So I don't mess with the vocal audio at all. It's actually, I don't like transition that in and out at all. So that's always the thing. So I'll just go ahead and Control S real quick. So I just use smooth transitions here, and you can see the little ball of fluff that flew by at the very end there. It's kind of cool. So we have a almost finished video. The last thing to do, or one of the last things to do anyway, is to get some MP3 files in. Let's listen to this one real quick, see what it has in store for us. It's from the YouTube audio library, which is very new. It's very interesting. And I'll just do this until I find a good track, or a good part of the track. Nah. How about Stepping Up? What is that? It's the weirdest thumbnail. Alright. Sure, why not? We'll just go with this. I probably wouldn't use this in a video like this, but screw it. So, I would like to add some music. And let us say I would like to add it to the very end, because I like to add music to the end. Adding music to the end is always good. And we'll just, we'll cut it here. Why not? Sounds good, right? Let's see if it sounds good. Sure, why not? And then we'll cut it here, all the way to the end of the video. And we fade this in and fade this out. And we also fade this out. And so we'll see here. It sounds awful, but sure, we'll go with it. And now, for the previous video, and this is why I have the video too, what I do is either I'll put none here for videos that are just the first of the series, or I will I will import another video that I've already done. Since I haven't done another video, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a clip from this. We'll just say, now I go into another video and I say, cut it here, and we'll cut it here, why not? And then we'll unlink it and copy the video from it. And then we'll Control-Z, Control-Z, Control-Z to get back. It's probably a more efficient way of doing that, but I don't care. So we'll click on here, and we will position it to the outro. So we'll assume that this is part of a previous video. But the problem is, we don't see the outro, and that's because it's a full 1080p video and takes up the entire thing. So we click on the video here, we go to Effect Controls, the Motion, and I actually have in my video assets an outro preview settings so I don't forget what the hell the settings are. 516, 394. 516, 394. And then the width and height for it are 50.9 and 50.1 and 49.5. So 50.1, 49.5, and I'm pretty sure I screwed that up, because it's the height that's 49.5. And the width, that's 50.1. It's a bit strange, I know, but it works. It fits in the preview, and it seems to work. And the reason it's doing that funky, weird thing is because it hasn't been rendered. You can see by the red here, it hasn't fully been rendered, and it's kind of weird and funky and thing. If I decided to render it, I would. And sometimes I do, depending on the video. But for now, I won't waste my processor on something like that. So we've got a previous video and all that happy fun stuff at the end. And I'll add an intro. Actually, I'm going to end up making another intro with After Effects here with my more powerful processor. I'll end up making something with better, more cool particle effects. It'll be cool, trust me. Trust me. And so now we have the entire video ready to be rendered. So now what I'll do is I'll export media. And remember, this is all my solid state drive. And I will choose H.264, because that's the YouTube codecs. And I have my own, again, I have my own custom thing. It's YouTube 1080p 29.97. And the reason I'm not encoding it in 60 FPS is A, that'd take longer, and B, that would be a bigger file size. And so I have all these completed videos that I have here. And so I will rename this to Minecraft. And usually I'll number it like Minecraft 1. I will end up removing this video afterward, but here's my encoding settings for that. 1920 by 1080, 29.97 at square pixels, of course. Level 5.1, profile high. And render at maximum depth, which means more render time, but since I have such a powerful processor, it doesn't really matter anyway. It's actually my solid state drive actually, the transfer rate to and from the solid state actually starts to give up before my processor is completely used, which is really awesome. So the thing is about the default YouTube settings is it sets us down to like 6, and the target bitrate should be definitely more than 6, because 6 is just awful. It's awful, awful, awful. You will always want a VBR and 2-pass. And the keyframe distance is, again, pretty awful. You'd think a keyframe distance of 1 would be great, but it's not. It's awful. So I try and choose a keyframe distance that's the same as my my previous render. So I recorded it at 60 FPS, so I'm going to have a 60 keyframe distance. I might reduce that to 30. Maybe. I always use maximum render quality, and in the audio settings it's pretty much default except for the 4800 Hertz that's there, and the 320 bitrate. I believe that's not a default. So those are my basic render export settings, I guess. So we have the entire video selected here, and I always make sure that it's not going to screw up. I actually forgot to fade this in and fade this out. Ooh, that would have been bad. That's why I do that. So now let's save this again real quick. File, export, media, YouTube. And now we'll see that it fades out correctly. And fades in correctly, hopefully. Yes, well, mostly, whatever. It's close enough. Nobody's going to pay attention to that one frame where it's like, oh, it's not quite correct. But so we have the entire thing selected, and now we're going to export it. Apologies, I'm actually going to have to cut this because it seems like I'm using all of my I/O operations on my solid state. So USB is fast, it's not that fast. I'll be back. Right, so a cup of tea and a couple minutes later, we are done. It is rendered. Yeah. So we will go into our completed videos folder. And we see sequence 01 because I forgot to rename it, but whatever. It's okay, it's just a name. We will open it up very quickly just to see what's happening. Hey guys, what's up? Just showing off my processor power and all that happy fun stuff. 19 FPS. Not bad. Not bad at all. Look at these beautiful, don't mind those. Look at these beautiful shadows and oh my god, that is lovely. Look at that. Oh, the reflections and everything. Oh my god. This is beautiful. It's beautiful, don't deny it. Yay, testing. It's a whole 19 FPS. Woo! And that awful outro music. So, that is how I do things, in case you were wondering. That's a completed video right there. I just upload that right to YouTube. I add annotations, of course, and I wait till YouTube says I can monetize it, in case I do copyright infringement things, whatever, I don't even know. But that's it. So, I will see you guys next time. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. All those happy fun things. Right? Yeah? Yeah? Do those, please. I like money. Money is good. Money keeps me alive. And keeps me well fed with tea. I like tea. Tea is good. I will see you next time. Bye.